Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart and this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about a manga. So this week's video is going to be a particular manga made by Shigeru Mizuki, and if that name sounds familiar, it should. He won awards for writing up Nananba, which is one of my personal favorites, Onwards Towards Our Noble Death, which is a sort of fictional semi-autobiography of himself, which is really, really good. And he wrote another historical kind of biography manga, and it's called Hitler. So just to give you a little background on Shigeru Mizuki, if you don't know him or his little bit of his history, I did do a panel discussion on him. The link will be down below if you want to check it out. But just the short version is that he is a very talented artist, illustrator, and he did fight in World War II against Australian and U.S. forces, but that experience made him a pacifist. And I don't mean just that, okay, war is hell and I don't like it anymore. I mean, he became a pacifist. He really kind of, just said, this is why war is wrong, this is why we have to find alternative solutions. He was a big proponent of no war. But he was also very interested in causes of war and causes and certain people and things like that. And one of the subjects that he wrote up, that he illustrated, one of the mangas that he made was, of course, this one, Hitler. He made another one called the Showa and period. And what he did is that he takes history and he just basically illustrates it. But because Shigeru Mizuki is Shigeru Mizuki, he is a goofball. Like, he likes to interject comedy and goofiness whenever possible. So while he is a talented artist, his characters tend to be not crudely drawn, but drawn in a goofy fashion to kind of accentuate their exaggerate some of their physical characteristics to make them either more outlandish or goofy or weird or whatever. And he gives Hitler the ultimate treatment in this, in terms of what he looks like. And it's really weird because you see this like kind of goofy drawing of Hitler, where Hitler kind of doesn't look like Hitler, but its backdrops, as usual, as Shigeru Mizuki's style, is detailed, meticulous, beautiful. So beautiful, so amazing. And some of the things, of course, like when you're talking about war devastation, they are freaking heartbreaking. Visually speaking, this is, again, Mizuki is stunning in his artwork. The story about Hitler is not going to be a war story. So this is not going to be about, World War II. This is about Hitler himself, and how he went from being a bohemian artist, failed bohemian artist and poor student, to being a homeless man, and then going on and how he got into the powers of the Nazi party, and eventually become the Fuhrer and causing World War II and pain and misery and death and destruction. And he does it in such a way that it's a little bit jarring, because he moves very quickly, and that's kind of what the attention span. There's inside jokes and things like that he does with Hitler and Hitler's friends. And it's kind of interesting because it gives you a quick and easy idea of what he had to do to first get into the Nazi Party, create the Nazi Party into something, become its leadership, have to deal with the factions within the Nazi Party, and how he became Chancellor, and how he would become Fuhrer, and how he would retain control over Germany. So you're not going to see a lot of violence in probably the 3/4 of the book. It's really just about him and talking and scheming and what is he doing and dealing with people like Goebbels and Himmler and Hindenburg and people like that, and how he dealt with people. And it's very interesting because one of the common themes in this is suicide. Suicide is a huge theme in this, and I didn't realize how much suicide was in Hitler's life. Like, there is a ton of suicide. And I don't mean just the people in his life killing themselves, which there were plenty of, but him using suicide as a political tool. Like, he would actually get meetings to go his way by pulling out a gun and going, yeah, if you don't do the thing I want to do, I'm just going to go ahead and blow my brains out in front of you. You got 3 minutes. Who does that? Well, maybe Trump, but I don't know. Oh, sorry, got a little political there. Anyway, it's an outstanding book. As usual, like I say, the art, you can see it already. The art is amazing. It's just like I say, some of this art is just amazing in its detail, and you'll spend time just looking at that panel. And it's just one panel of me. You'll just look at it and just look at the amazing detail, but then you'll look at something like this, right? See how goofy they are? But backdropped on something like that. It's just insane how creative this book is and his work is. So am I telling you you should read this? Yes, absolutely. Would I use this book as part of a thesis on Hitler? No, I would not. The things in here are true. They talk about the events, and there is actually a very good, towards the back of the book, there is actually asterisks throughout the book so you can understand like certain terms and what situations were and what treaties were and things like that. But it's more of a story. It's a story. It's not a fictionalized story, but basically Mizuki's interpretation of Hitler's life. And now, a lot of you are going to say, does it talk about the Holocaust? No, it does not. I'm just going to put that out there real plain and simple. I mean, it doesn't talk about it in that it doesn't showcase it. It brings it up. It does talk about it a little bit, but you have to understand that the Japanese, when they heard about the Holocaust, it was literally for them like, oh, okay, that's weird, but that's what they're doing over there and it doesn't concern us. We're not going to do that necessarily, but as long as they're keeping the United States occupied, whatever. So they don't really talk about it because there's no personal experience for it. I should say, however, that there are plenty of documented cases where Jews actually escaped to Japan because the Japanese had no animosity towards Jewish people because they were Jewish. They were just like, okay, well, sure, come in, well, fine, you're going to be Gaijin, but, you're going to be fine. We're not going to put you in a concentration camp. So there is that. So if you're looking for a Holocaust story, it's not there. But yes, get this book, read it. I will tell you, this is hard to find. And by that, I mean getting it through a library. You could probably go onto Amazon, find it pretty easy, and buy it. But if you're like just wanting to get it from a library, it's going to be difficult because this is not for kids, not for kids, not for kids. Okay, so there's subject matters that librarians kind of are a little about, particularly in what they consider to be a comic book. So anyway, get the book, read it, enjoy it. It's Mizuki. It's Shigeru Mizuki. Come on. Who doesn't want to read his stuff, right? All right. So that's it for that. Hope you enjoyed the video this week. Please stop on by the weekly dig over at Anime Archaeology. That's where we talk about anime and stuff like that. And I believe we're going to be talking about more episodes of Serial Experiments Lane. Anime that is new to me, and I'm kind of... Anyway, so come on by and we'll talk about that and news and anime and various other stuff. So again, we're almost around COVID. Vaccinate if you haven't yet. Wear the mask if you need to. Make sure you're social distance because I want to be able to meet you all in person, and we're so close to that. And again, thank you so much for subscribing. Please like and subscribe, and we'll continue forward. And don't forget, sometime in August, you're going to get your free digital sushi. Okay, love you guys, and see you next time.